In the blackest regions of the universe, where matter is scarce and time itself stretches toward infinity, there exists a paradox, a source of light so blinding, so profound, that it defies our expectations of what the cosmos should be. In a place governed by silence and entropy, a quasar blazes, not softly, but violently, as though the very laws of nature have been challenged and rewritten. These are not stars, though they once masqueraded as such in early telescopes. They are something else entirely. Quasars are among the brightest objects in the universe, yet they are powered by one of the darkest forces we know, a black hole. They are contradictions, wrapped in light. And yet, from these contradictions, truths emerge. Quasars are not only visible across billions of light years, but they are ancient messengers, delivering news from an era when the universe was barely formed. Their light tells a story, not just of energy and gravity, but of the very birth and growth of galaxies. What is the source of their power? What physics allows such incredible radiance? And what can quasars teach us about the formation of structure in the universe, about our cosmic origins? To understand quasars is to understand some of the deepest mysteries in all of astrophysics. At the heart of every quasar lies a monster, a supermassive black hole, millions to billions of times the mass of our sun, devouring everything in its vicinity. But contrary to what we might expect, it is not the black hole itself that emits light. Black holes are, by definition, invisible. They consume light. They trap it. So how, then, does something so dark become a beacon? The answer lies in what surrounds them. Matter falling into a black hole doesn't simply disappear. It first forms a swirling disk of gas and dust called an accretion disk, which rotates at near relativistic speeds. As the matter spirals in, it heats up through friction and immense gravitational compression. It glows, first red-hot, then white-hot, until it shines across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Temperatures in these disks can exceed hundreds of millions of degrees. The forces at play are so extreme that they create enormous magnetic fields, which twist into titanic coils, launching relativistic jets of plasma from the poles of the black hole, jets that can travel for hundreds of thousands of light years. This engine, driven by the conversion of gravitational potential energy into light and radiation, is the most efficient energy-producing mechanism known in the universe. Not fusion, not fission, but the inexorable pull of gravity itself, channeled through matter on the brink of annihilation. When we observe a quasar, we do not see it as it is. We see it as it was, often more than 10 billion years ago. Quasars are so far away that their light has taken eons to reach us. In looking at them, we are gazing into the distant past. This makes quasars time machines in a very real sense. Through them, we see the universe as it once was, turbulent, dynamic, and filled with newborn galaxies just beginning their long, evolutionary journeys. In some of the earliest quasars discovered, black holes had already grown to billions of solar masses. But how? How does something so massive arise in so little time, when the universe was still in its infancy? Did early black holes grow more rapidly than we thought possible? Were they born massive? Or did galaxy mergers, dense gas flows, and exotic physics provide a shortcut? These questions strike at the heart of cosmology. And quasars, with their brilliant, ancient light, are among our best tools for answering them. Not all quasars are alike. Some beam out powerful radio waves. Others are radio silent. Some shoot jets that span hundreds of thousands of light years. Others do not. Some quasars show signs of intervening dust, which dims their light. Others are blindingly clear, their radiation unfiltered, raw. We now recognize that quasars are just one part of a larger class of objects known as active galactic nuclei, or AGN. Depending on the angle of observation, the type of host galaxy, and the environment around them, AGN can appear as Seyfert galaxies, blazars, radio galaxies, or quasars. All are powered by the same basic engine, an accreting supermassive black hole. This diversity isn't noise, it's information. By studying these variations, we begin to understand how black holes grow, how galaxies evolve around them, and how matter behaves under the most extreme conditions. Each quasar is a laboratory, a unique experiment in the physics of the extraordinary. Quasars don't just tell us about themselves. Their light also tells us about the space between, the vast, diffuse medium that connects galaxies across the universe. As quasar light travels to Earth, it passes through clouds of hydrogen, helium, and heavier elements. Each time it does, it leaves behind spectral fingerprints, absorption lines in the quasar spectrum. These lines tell us the composition, temperature, and velocity of the intergalactic medium, the stuff between galaxies, where dark matter and large-scale structure reside. By examining thousands of quasar spectra, astronomers have mapped the cosmic web, the filamentary structure of the universe on the largest scales, composed of gas, galaxies, and invisible dark matter. Quasars act like flashlights shining through fog. They reveal the shape of the fog, its density, its chemistry, its evolution, and in doing so, they illuminate the grand design of the cosmos. Quasars don't last forever. They represent a phase in a galaxy's life, an active period when the central black hole is well fed. But eventually, that fuel runs out. The gas and dust are consumed, ejected, or blown away by the quasar's own radiation. When the feeding stops, the quasar dims. The once blazing core fades into darkness. What remains is a quiescent black hole, surrounded by a more stable galaxy. Many of the massive, quiet galaxies we see today likely hosted quasars in their youth, including our own. The Milky Way's central black hole, Sagittarius A*, is dormant now, but signs in nearby stars and gas clouds suggest it, too, once flared brightly. It was a quasar, perhaps billions of years ago. Perhaps, someday, it will be again. In the 21st century, we are better equipped than ever to study quasars. Space telescopes like Hubble and James Webb, combined with Earth's largest observatories, can capture their light across every wavelength, from radio to infrared to X-rays. These observations are helping us refine our models of quasar formation, measure black hole masses with precision, and even probe the structure of space-time itself. With upcoming missions like the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope and next-generation ground-based instruments, we will push even deeper toward the first quasars, the first galaxies, the first lights in the universe. In their mystery, quasars remind us of a universal truth, that from the darkest depths, brilliance can emerge. They show us the power of gravity not just to destroy, but to illuminate. The conversion of matter into energy, the evolution of galaxies, the structure of the cosmos itself, all are reflected in their incandescent glow. We chase them not just to see light, but to understand what lies behind the light, to find patterns in chaos, order in violence, meaning in the silent flicker of a distant, dying flame. They are not stars. They are not galaxies. They are something more. They are beacons from the beginning of time, still burning, still whispering to us across eternity.